Like I was like, welcome to their Happening Podcast, episode 15 with Levi. Again. And we're here to talk about Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
So do you want to do a synopsis first?
Yeah.
A quick overview of what the movie is?
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be good. It's kind of, it's almost like Batman Year One.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Rolled in with a plot line.
With a tighter plot line than
Yeah.
Year One.
It's like Year One's like almost like a side, it's after Year One, but they reference it. It feels like.
Yeah. Well, that's what was one of the questions I had watching it was, when did Batman Year One come out, the comic? Because it feels like it references it.
I don't know. Maybe let me just check it out real quick. Maybe it was
Or maybe this was a basis for Year One.
It could be.
Where they saw the movie and got the idea for Year One.
Or maybe this is
Because I think it was Frank Miller that wrote Year One, wasn't it, originally? I know Kevin Smith did a rewrite.
Yeah, Frank Miller.
So that would have to be late
87.
80s. Yeah.
1987. Batman issue 404 to 407. Yeah.
Because it really does feel like a year, and it was after the first season is when they made it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very much a Year One type movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not an exact.
No, it's not.
No,
Plot for
really
plot.
Feels like it because he goes out without the suit on to take on thugs, and then gets the suit.
Yeah,
does the drawings and all that stuff.
Yeah, you see a little bit of that. He does one drawing, throws in the fire.
Yep.
It's like a condensed Year One.
Yeah.
As a flashback.
Yep. So we have a new supervillain, the Phantasm, comes to Gotham, starts killing off old mobsters.
Is she really a supervillain?
Vigilante.
Yeah. I don't know what that noise is.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I guess we can just pick up back from where we were.
So, synopsis. New vigilante in town.
Yeah. Maybe like an anti-hero.
I'd say vigilante. They're trying to do the same thing as Batman, kind of, but they're killing instead of not killing.
Yeah. I was thinking more like the Punisher.
Yeah. Yeah, more like a Punisher.
He's like him or Venom. They're considered like anti-heroes.
Yeah. I mean, I think both vigilante, anti-hero are kind of interchangeable.
Kind of. I think, I don't know. I guess so, yeah.
I mean, what's the difference?
Maybe anti-heroes, one who's...
vigilante, one who doesn't kill people, and an anti-hero is one who does?
Maybe it's motivation.
Maybe.
Vigilante, like vigilante justice, whereas like an anti-hero can do good or bad.
So vigilante only works outside of the law.
Yeah, maybe to do...
But for good.
For good. I would say that's what vigilante, like in comic book context, is.
Okay.
That's what I feel like they are anyway.
And I feel like anti-hero and vigilante are interchangeable.
Yeah, they probably are.
I don't know.
I
I don't know either. Who knows?
It's close enough.
Comes down, starts killing old mobsters, but only old mobsters.
Mm-hmm.
Batman gets involved. The police try to pin it on Batman. I mean, basic Batman stuff there.
Yeah, well, the mobsters think it was Batman because they only saw a little bit of their boss getting killed.
An encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just see a masked figure, and they think it's Batman.
Yep. We get a bunch of flashbacks to Year One Batman, basically.
Yeah, and if somebody, Batman in his 20s.
Yep.
About.
I think this is a movie where the idea of Batman and Bruce Wayne being the same, that Batman's Batman all the time, and Bruce Wayne is the mask, is kind of...
It starts.
Validated in this, I think. Because we see Bruce Wayne's
his
side
choice
of the character kind of go away.
Yeah, I think
as he gets closer.
I think he has to he makes that choice in this.
I think Bruce Wayne, at least in this movie, Bruce Wayne is Batman's embodiment of happiness.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes away in this movie.
Yeah, because he kind of has to make that choice between being Batman and being happy, but then it's kind of made for him.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't really like about the movie was that it doesn't feel like that Bruce Wayne or Batman has any will or any control over anything. Everything just happens to them. But I don't think that Batman's the protagonist.
No?
I think that the villain is, that Phantasm is.
Okay. Yeah, Andrea, I think her name is.
Yeah, Andrea.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah,
Batman starts hunting down Phantasm. And at the same time, an old flame from his past, Andrea, comes back into town. Obviously, Andrea is Phantasm. I mean,
yeah, they kind of try to make it sound like it was her dad.
Well, they kind of try to make it seem like it's somebody else. But if you followed comics or TV shows and movies, it's pretty obvious.
You know it's her.
This person shows up and this person shows up at the same time.
Yeah.
Phantasm is the only supervillain or vigilante or anti-hero that has figured out that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
In the animated, yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the movie, yeah.
Yep. Nobody else puts those pieces together, but she does. So as smart, if not smarter, than Batman, at least in the movie.
I think it was kind of right place, right time.
Maybe.
Because she sees he's mourning at the Wayne grave because it was next to be. No. She sees him as Batman.
Later in the movie, yeah.
Yeah, because she
doesn't meet him there until...
No, he goes there after looking for clues after of the guy being killed, and she.
Oh yeah.
She sees he's more.
She took out the guy with the angel statue, which one of the best scenes in media, maybe.
Yeah, it makes sense. It was like, it's your angel of death.
Yep. She has one of the best burns on Batman ever, where they're in the apartment and she tells them the only person that's controlled by their parents here is you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get down to one mobster left, Sal. Sal goes to the Joker for help. Joker kills him.
Of course.
We find out that a little bit of Joker's backstory, in that Joker was a mobster before becoming the Joker, and actually kills Andrea's father.
Yep.
So we get a big fight at the
like amusement, or no, it's the
it's a World of Tomorrow.
Yeah, the futuristic place.
Yep, like a World Fair, World of Tomorrow area. Get some big symbolism there, because in the flashbacks, the World of Tomorrow is very bright and new and
now it's bleak
hopeful,
and dark.
And at the end, it's just like their relationship, bleak and dark and ruined. Another thing comes up that I think that Andreas should have been able to kill the Joker in this, and then retconned his death out later. But that's my opinion. Because you can't really kill Joker in this. He needs him. Need him for the show and stuff. That.
It should have either been... maybe this should have been an ending movie.
Maybe. Yeah. I could see that. I could see that really working.
And then maybe she kills the Joker, and then...
we get another incarnation of him. Maybe later, something like that.
Or maybe it's maybe there's a follow-up and things are quieter. Because maybe he was instigating things more.
Yeah, we get a couple of episodes, couple of movies or comics without the Joker for a little bit.
Yeah, that could have been a jumping off point for. Yeah. Well, no, I guess it could have went into, Batman Beyond that way too, instead of the whole.
Did.
Well, I mean, he dies, but it's for a different reason. It could have just been a different reason for him.
Let's come back to that because I got something good for that.
All right.
So
I think also to before we move on from the whole Joker being a mobster thing, I think that's another carryover from the Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah,
because like Penguin was modeled after that Batman, and there's the whole gothic aesthetic.
Yep.
Even the theme is the theme from that.
I think the whole animated series and the movies that came from the animated series are highly influenced by Burton's Batman.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like everything
But that
was modeled after it. I think.
one of the best performing Batmans.
Yeah,
At
Michael
the
Keaton is
time.
my favorite Batman.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a question for you about that later too. So, Andrea gets unmasked. They fight. The world of tomorrow, Joker blows it up, tries to escape. And we don't know what happens to Andrea.
Yeah. I wonder what that is. Why it keeps
That
doing
one was
that?
mine.
Was it? Oh, okay.
I touched mine and it went away.
I need to invest in new microphones, apparently.
So, and movie's over, and the ending scene of the movie is very similar to the beginning scene where Batman is swinging at the camera on his way to the next thing because it was in between seasons of the animated show.
Yeah, that's cool.
Didn't get a final ending to it. So, yeah. So, what were some of the high points for you about the movie?
I like that it shows. I like that glimpse of happiness in Batman. I like him contemplating doing this, and I thought it was a good, like in Justice League. I can't remember if it was Unlimited or the first Justice League, where he's on the rooftop with Wonder Woman, and she's kind of hinting at, kind of hitting on him, hinting at him, and he's like, you're an immortal princess from another land, and he's like, I'm a rich kid with a lot of issues. He's like, oh, people, I can't have anybody in my life because people will be hurt, and I can't risk that. And that kind of reminded me of that, like maybe that was more of him thinking
Maybe
of
that's
that.
part of the reason of it.
Yeah, because
I think that's a lesson that Batman takes away from it. Is that if he includes anybody, this could happen.
Yeah, I feel like because I know the animated is before Justice League, and it kind of ties into it.
Yeah.
What else? I love the Joker, and Mark Hamill's the best Joker.
It's the best Joker.
He is.
I mean, just is.
That's how the Joker in the movie should be.
One of my favorite things about the Joker in this is when he reaches.
He gets the baloney. I
Instead
knew
of the
you were going to
knife.
say that.
I think
that was
that's
one of my favorite
everybody's
points.
favorite point, isn't it? I mean, that defines the Joker.
Yeah.
Just that one little action.
Yep. He wants to kill you, but he's going to do it in a funny way.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, he sees the absurdity.
Yeah.
In the actions they're taking, I think is a big point of the Joker that they miss.
Yeah.
A lot of times. That I think Hamill's Joker really hits is that this is absolutely absurd. We are grown individuals running around in tights and costumes, fighting each other for what? The soul of a city?
Yeah. I like it when she appears and he's like, the costume's a bit flashy, but who am I to talk? It's like, oh, that makes sense. That's funny. That's really great. I love Alfred's comeback to him. He's like, you don't know me, and he's like, I diapered your bottom for years. I damn well know you.
I think everything that Alfred says in this is
he's gold
fantastic.
in the animated series, and in comics too. He's like that.
I think that Alfred is like closeted, campy gay in all of it.
You think so?
Where he's homosexual and he just makes witty comebacks because he can't express it in any other way. And that's how he comes across to me.
He just seems like he's classic British butler, like Geoffrey from Fresh Prince.
So imagine classic British butler who's also a closeted homosexual at the time. Like how much of that dry humor, witty comebacks would come out. I think that
maybe.
But that's my headcanon is that Alfred's gay.
I always thought he was that way because he was always around, like being a butler for somebody who's super rich, to kind of not be put down by rich people. He has to have that. Point. I think that feels more and because it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight, I feel like that would come about
Yeah.
as more of a
I
survival
think
mechanism.
It just adds to the. I think it just adds to my head canon.
I mean, it could.
That's just me, though. What about the fact that I don't know if you noticed this, but throughout the entire movie, whenever Bruce or Batman is mourning or talking to his parents, they're always above him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he goes to the grave's above him. The photo in the house is above him. But with Andrea, they're below her. So she's kind of put them behind her.
Yeah.
And
I
his
never
life
thought
is
of it that
kind
way.
Ruled by his parents.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought of it that way. I always thought he was looking up like a child would for advice.
Yeah, kind of that.
Not
kind
necessarily.
Of also,
or maybe like they're in heaven.
I think it has both meanings, or can have both meanings.
Yeah.
The movie's very full of symbolism.
Yeah. Or maybe where Andrea's dad, at least, is dead, but he was kind of a bad person. He'd be down.
Well, I mean, when she's talking to her mother, it's a flat tombstone on the ground, and it's an indication of the difference in their classes.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, the artist did it for a reason.
Yeah.
Where she's kind of come to terms with her mother's passing.
Oh,
in
yeah.
a way that Bruce hasn't.
Oh, yeah, she's there. She's more happy. Not happy, but more upbeat and like she cracks a joke about her mom wanting to know something about, I can't remember what it was.
I think in their first encounter at the cemetery, says a lot about it, because she says she can imagine when she talks to her mom, it's actual conversation.
Yeah.
Whereas Bruce says that he's just listening.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't actually converse. And I think that ties into the I didn't count on being happy scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that really gets into his psyche at the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he has that breakdown where he's like, I didn't count on being happy. And then she comes and lifts him up.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into the Batman Beyond thing earlier, in that McGinnis makes a different choice than Batman.
Yeah.
He decides to pursue his happiness, whereas Batman doesn't feel like he's earned his happiness.
Yeah, I think so. I think it also has to do with that everything was taken away from him, where Terry has family that loves him.
Right, and that's going to lead to differences between the two characters, obviously. But it's still, the motivations are still similar.
Yeah, in a way, I guess.
McGinnis is motivated to seek out justice for his dad, whereas Batman is both parents.
Yeah, and he has, I think, I don't know. He said, he made a promise to them that, like, it kind of
a vow, not just a promise.
That it's kind of a universal Batman thing that he doesn't want any of this to happen to anyone else ever again. Where Terry, I don't know if Terry
internalizes it that way.
Yeah, because Terry still has his mom and still has his brother and friends, where Bruce didn't have that.
How about Phantasm making an appearance in Batman Begins?
In Batman Begins.
Or in Batman Beyond.
I haven't watched it in forever.
Yeah. Andrea makes an appearance.
Oh, she does?
Yep, she comes back.
I haven't watched it since it was on TV. I need because I saw it at like Walmart for like $20. I should buy it.
Yeah, that the callbacks between the two shows are.
Well, yeah, it's a direct sequel.
Yeah, exactly. So, what else?
For it,
what was something that you didn't expect to see in it?
That I didn't expect.
I didn't expect to see the Joker at the end of the movie when I first watched it.
I kind of did, because when he came to the Joker for help, I'm like, I thought either Joker was gonna double cross him like he did, or use that guy as bait.
Oh, I didn't expect the Joker to be in the movie at all.
No,
So
no,
when
not at all.
Sal
No.
went to go see him, I was surprised that.
Yeah, that I was like, when I originally, seen it years ago, but when I first saw him, like, oh yeah.
How awesome are the two entrances that the Joker gets? Where the first one where he shoots the heads off the robots.
Yeah.
And then the second one, what does he say when he kicks open the door for the congressman?
I can't remember.
Something
I
quibby.
just watched it too.
I know, so did I. I know.
I don't have it memorized like I do a lot of
But
other stuff.
Both very rare
Very
that
flashy.
you get two great entrances from one character.
Yeah, but that seems like that's something he does though, because he likes to be the center, the focus,
Yeah.
making the joke, trying to influence everybody around him, no matter if it's a funny, a threat, anything, as long as he's having an impact on people.
Okay.
Because that's him and Batman. That's their relationship. He wants to have an impact on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he wants that with everybody.
I don't know. I think the Joker is just
Crazy?
not there. Just
When the comics,
what's the definition of insane? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
yeah. But when you know it wears away at somebody,
Mm-hmm.
it will have a different result one time.
I think that's something that's been added in later
Yeah.
to the Joker's character.
Well, yeah. I mean, everything has changed over. Like Batman used to kill people at first. He had guns.
Yep.
In the first,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, take the good stuff and add it by
Yeah.
all means.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Is it the best Batman movie? I would say
I'd really have to sit down and watch them all. Take, but it's definitely in the top 5, not top 3.
I would say it's the best pure Batman movie
Probably, yeah.
because it has every aspect of Batman's character in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It really
detective
does.
work. He's got the vigilanteism.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, a little bit of the origin story.
Yeah.
Just enough so that you know where everything's at.
I think going back to one of our...
It's got the Bruce Wayne becoming Batman all the time.
I think going back to our earlier talk about it, what I thought of Batman, it has that you don't have to do bad. You can be redeemed.
Right.
I think that was probably one of my favorite parts of it.
Mm-hmm. and that is, that part of Batman, I don't think existed before the animated series, really. I mean, a
Kind
little
of.
bit in the 80s, but before that.
I mean, the
not
80s,
really.
that's when he kicked off like with Dark Knight Returns, and he started really going, being
hardcore.
dark and grizzled.
I mean, or did they bring it back?
I feel like they probably did because the animated series really affected main Batman, like comic and mainstream Batman,
Right.
because it was so good,
Mm-hmm.
and it has that's such a good lane for him to be in.
Why hasn't any other superhero movie done what this movie has done by creating a new villain
Just for the movie,
just for the movie?
it's
Because no
it's a
other
risk.
one that I can think of has.
a risk.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we don't want to take risks. We want to know we're going to make our money back on this.
Yeah, but I think this and Under the Red Hood proves that this is what's needed sometimes.
Yeah,
Because I think a lot of Phantasm made it into Under the Red Hood also. And into Red Hood's character.
because
They had a
Phantasm is
previous
kind of like
relationship.
a lot. Yeah, it is a lot of
They
that. But
started killing.
had the Joker in it.
They had the Joker in it. Both
He's
of
a
them
main
are-
cause of a lot
both
of
them
stuff.
are created by the Joker, more or less.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a common theme for Batman because he's most of his villains are either created indirectly or directly because of him.
Mm-hmm. Right. You also have. God, I just had another point about it.
But I think it was different because it's different that she did this. I guess she did this out of revenge, but it was only directed towards them, these particular people.
Right.
Whereas Red Hood said, "I can be you, but better."
Right.
Where he wanted to
they're
replace
not
Batman.
identical, but a lot of it, I think.
Yeah, but I think
Bled
that's
over
the
into
big.
it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it doesn't Red Hood come up before this movie, or is he more of a newer?
Red Hood's after.
Is he? Yeah.
I mean, this is the first animated Batman movie.
Yeah, it's only. I guess it is only it's in early '90s.
Red Hood came out, what, 98, 97, something like
Yeah,
that?
I mean comic wise though.
Yeah. Well, Jason Todd
Yeah.
died in the comics before this.
Yeah, because people voted on him because they're
Yeah.
assholes. Nobody liked him for some
Nobody
reason.
liked Jason Todd.
No.
I don't know why.
They do now. Red Hood's a great character.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like the Punisher.
Right. Well, he plays off Batman in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Batman says these people can be reformed. And Red Hood says,
Nope.
At what cost? You know,
Mm-hmm.
how much longer, how many thousands, millions of people could be saved if you had stopped the Joker permanently sooner?
Yeah, that's true. He's kind of what maybe it could be maybe he's a reflection of maybe what Batman regrets not doing.
Maybe. I think the question of, at least in comics, whether you kill the bad guy or reform them is a very interesting conversation.
A lot of the times,
'Cause, I mean, how many? Think about all all the bad guys from like the 60s and 70s that have gone away.
yeah,
Like
they just
that
fall
showed
out
up in
all the
one
characters.
comic and now they're gone, right?
Yeah, that's just like
If you carry them over
if it
to
works.
now, right, where they didn't go away, how many more? How higher is the death toll or damage toll because they have existed that long,
mm-hmm.
right? And that, I think, brings up an interesting...
Well, how many of them can you convert to your side though? How many of them are Vegeta to a Goku?
I think Kite Man is an excellent case study for that, along with Captain
King.
Boomerang.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, they were bad guys for the longest time,
Mm-hmm.
and they were brought back as good guys. So they can be, obviously, some of them can be reformed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Does that mean all of them should be?
Can all of them be?
How do you reform Killer Croc? You know what I'm saying?
Turn him human.
You think so?
Yeah,
Cure
because like
him?
in the he's kind of just an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Would he have been
But-
different if he stayed human?
Is
Would
it
he?
better to, instead of curing him, put him out of his misery? Because he is miserable in that form.
Yeah, but if you could cure him,
How long?
I mean,
does that
but
take?
if you couldn't,
How many
would you
people
put him
does he
out? I
eat
don't know.
Before you find a cure,
that's true.
you know,
I guess it depends if you can convince him to do
what's
good.
better?
If you can convince him to be a good guy,
Like King
would-
Shark.
I don't know. I don't know about Kid Shark. I don't know
King
him.
Shark.
King Shark. Yeah,
He's a Flash villain.
yeah. I know he's like a
He's
Suicide Squad
very-
member.
He's very much a Killer Croc type character.
Mm-hmm. Just a
Where
reskin.
he's half man, half shark.
Yeah, I know a little bit about him because of
Right.
like the Assault on
But
Arkham
he's
movie.
been reformed
Yeah,
ish.
but if you reform Killer Croc, can you make him good? And will being good be
Mhm.
good enough for him to say I have a purpose?
Right.
Because that's a
And
lot.
how
of,
long does it stick before he goes, oh, screw this, I'm going back to what
Yeah.
I was doing before? Or some Solomon Grundy.
Mhm.
How do you reform Solomon Grundy?
Well, he's supernatural. That's different.
So you can't reform him.
No, you probably can't reform him.
Right? So
You
should
just
he
set him free.
be put someplace where he can no longer regenerate.
Mm-hmm. That's something you have to like break the curse.
Or
I
put him
think.
in the sun. But do you see, this is why I think it's an interesting conversation, is it's
Yeah.
case by case.
It really is. I think, but you can kind of group people together.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain villains that are just more small time
Mhm.
and just crooks. They're kind of a lot in the same category.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's certain special cases like Mr. Freeze.
Right.
There's only one reason he's a villain.
Right.
If you could cure his wife, then he wouldn't be
he
that
would
way.
be done.
Yeah. He's like, all right, we'll go live. We'll be happy.
Right. I don't know, but that's something that's gone away a lot too in the past. That's something that this movie did by creating Phantasm
Mm-hmm.
that has really gone away in the comics for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get bad guy of the month anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
No, you
It's
don't.
all either low level thugs
Mm-hmm.
or this is going to be a new character forever, or we're going to fight the Joker, for example, until we have
time.
used him
Yeah.
completely up. And I think we need to go back to get a little bit more of the character of the month, because you don't know what's going to be good. You don't know what's going to stick without that. You can't explore new avenues easily.
This is what going back to what I was saying before. Like we've talked about this of stuff being just repurposed, or characters being just rewritten differently, or somebody else taking the mantle of something. It's the same thing. They're just getting lazy. They're not writing anything new. They're just putting a fresh coat of paint on stuff.
Right. Oh yeah, that's why I'm completely in favor of write as many bad stories as you want.
Get a good one here and there.
I mean, by all means, make new characters, write new stories, do whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's how we got the characters we have.
Well, it's why I push back so much against this isn't the comic of my youth. This isn't the story that I want. Well, yeah, they can't all be my story.
No, that's true.
You know?
I think, though, we have to retain the core essence of it. Like Superman.
Well, how do you find out new things about Superman without changing him a little bit? Boy, this has gone way off Phantasm.
It has a little bit, but that's fine. With the New 52 Superman, everybody hated him, and that's why they changed him. They merged him back with classic Superman, because you want that core idea of.
Yeah, but what did he take from that new 52 version that has stuck with him till now? Because there are aspects of that have stuck with him, and I haven't read much of.
I don't
New
really
52.
know. I don't really know. I don't know if that's coming from this or yours again. Oh yeah. I don't know. I think because the new 52 Superman was like younger, he was cocky, arrogant, and things like that.
Well, we've taken Lois knowing about him right from the beginning, basically. That has stuck with, because that was, I believe that was pretty early in New 52 where he admitted, hey, I'm Superman Lois. Whereas in classic Superman, it took
time. Yeah.
Time. I think we took a little bit more of the.
I'm not saying things like that, but when you adjust who he is fundamentally as a person, I don't think that works.
And I think that what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you have to do that so that you can delve into new territory with the character.
Yeah.
You can't keep Batman the same the entire time. The Batman you and I
he's 100% different now.
Completely different. I mean, imagine if it was still 30s Batman where he shot goons out the window and
he'd be the Punisher.
There was no Robin. And da-da-da-da-da. I mean...
Yeah, he'd be the Punisher with the bat costume on, basically.
I don't like that we put the Punisher in the hero category. He's not a hero. He's not even
really
an anti-hero. He is a villain.
Yeah, he does, but he does for the
creators have said
the good reasons, though, I think.
He does it for reasons that he can kind of get away with saying that he's doing it for. I think it's more he's a serial killer who has figured out how to game the system in the comic world.
I guess so.
I can do pretty much whatever I want if I pretend to be a superhero.
Kinda, but he has a code to him. He has a moral code.
He says he does.
Well, like when in Civil War, when he kills the two guys from Tony's faction, or not Tony's, the government basically,
right?
And he says, they were bad guys, and then Captain America starts beating him, and he's like, "I'm not gonna hurt you. You're my hero. You're what I'm fighting for."
So because he has
such reverence and respect,
worship.
But I mean, like, he wouldn't necessarily hurt someone else knowing they're doing the good thing, the right thing, in his eyes.
Yes, but the difference in Civil War was that they had a difference of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was what was kind of good about Civil War is you could be on either side
Yeah.
and be right.
No.
You don't think so?
No, because they had the it was a separate line of comics,
Mm-hmm.
and it was around this guy who was an investigative journalist,
Mm-hmm.
and he went around, and after the first incident,
Okay, so that's justifying it after the fact. I'm talking.
yeah,
in the
but I mean
original
during the
run
fact,
of-
yeah. No, that ran concurrently with it.
Okay.
So you saw that after the initial explosion, Tony was faking things just to get his ideology
that's
forward.
justifying one side after the fact because he could have
Yeah.
done the same thing for Captain American's side in that.
Yeah, that's true.
But the core tenement
Yeah.
is that's what I think made the movie so great
Yeah, I wish.
is that both of them had valid points.
Yeah,
And either one of them could be right depending on your belief system.
I wish that movie would have been 2 movies.
Oh, yeah, so do I.
It would have been so much better with more runtime and more
Mm-hmm.
characters,
agree.
longer periods.
I agree.
But I do like that they put in the Black Panther
Mm-hmm.
and just put his origin story instead of having a whole movie for an origin story.
Right.
Because
Yep.
that's really played out, I think.
Well, I think we're going to see more of that going forward.
I hope so. Because we don't need a whole movie
Right.
for
Well, I
origins
mean,
anymore.
Endgame, the beginning of Endgame, where Clint is teaching his daughter how to shoot bow and arrow.
Yeah,
I think that's
that'll be the next
the
Hawkeye.
origin story of Hawkeye
Yeah.
because he's never called Hawkeye in the movies.
No, he's not. He's always Clint.
And
You
in
know
the
him. You know who he
comics-
is.
And in the comics, his daughter picks up the mantle.
Yep. She's in the West Coast Avengers, isn't she?
I believe so.
I think now she is.
I think, yeah.
Her, America, Miss Marvel.
Do we get any of those characters in the movies? Do we get Kid Cap? Do we get
I don't think so.
young
Well, maybe since he's old.
Quicksilver? Do we get
I
any
don't
of
think
the
Quicksilver.
silly kid characters that have existed in the comics for a while?
Maybe 1 or 2. Maybe they'll be background
Mhm.
or cameos of some sort. Like certain
So you think?
it's hard to have Miss
Like-
Marvel because there's no Inhumans
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
But they could do that.
hmm Well, they tried to do it on TV.
Yeah, when it was
But that was
failure.
awful.
But they don't. They haven't integrated any of the TV shows except
Agents of
Agents
S.H.I.E.L.D.
of Shield. Anything else hasn't been integrated, like the
Yet.
Netflix Avengers, I call them.
Mm-hmm. They haven't been integrated yet.
Yeah,
I think the stuff on Netflix is going to be. Oh yeah, that's no longer canon.
Oh, I wish it was, because they reference it in Luke Cage,
Mm-hmm.
the event,
Mm-hmm.
and all the stolen technology from the I can't think of what they're called, the
Chitauri.
Chitauri. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's what hurts Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And I love John Bernthal as the Punisher. I don't think
I
he's
think
as
he
good
does a
as
great job.
I don't think he's as good as Thomas Jane. I love that Punisher movie.
I think he does a better job as Punisher. I think he just comes across. He embodies more appearance wise and attitude wise
Mhm.
of what the Punisher is now.
Yeah, I guess
Whereas
so.
at the time, the first Punisher movie is more.
Technically, it's the second
Second,
Punisher
I was
movie.
going to
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren was the first. Which, by the way, how upset are we that Dolph did not get an appearance in any of the Punishers?
Oh, he should have. Just a cameo.
Just a prison guard.
Yeah.
or, you know,
doing the whole Lou
store
Ferrigno
owner.
thing.
Yep.
That'd have been great.
Yep.
I wish that could have happened.
Maybe it will. I don't know. The Marvel series, the Marvel Cinematic Universe can go basically anywhere now.
Yeah, forever,
Yeah. And
effectively.
yeah, I mean, they have effectively figured out how to turn the comics into movies.
Mm.
And I think they did it with Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah.
Those two movies took so much for granted, or asked the audience to do so much work
Mm-hmm.
to be able to understand everything in the movie.
Yeah.
But it still appealed to people that knew nothing about the movies.
Yeah. Because you don't have to watch every single movie.
That's the way they have figured out how to take the comic book design.
Yeah.
Because you can pick up any comic book and not know anything about the character and get enough in that one comic to kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah, for the most part.
As long as you're not picking up in the middle of a
storyline
event. Or
yeah.
A,
Blackest Night, issue 7. You're like, what's going on?
What's going on here? Yeah. You can't grab Infinity War or Infinity number 10 and know what's going on. But you can know enough from them to go, what's the rest of this story?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what's cool. That's the way comics have worked for so long, is no matter what Spider-Man issue you pick up, for the most part, you're going to get great power, great responsibility in almost every one.
Yeah. And that makes you want to, let me go to the first one.
Yeah.
And then.
Or let me get more of the story.
Yeah. Or if I'm at an issue 3 of a 5-part, or most storylines are 2-3 issues. If you're on issue 2, well, let me pick up number 1 and get number 3.
Yep. And I think that the cinematic universe has figured that out, how to do that with a movie.
I wish DC would do that.
The animated kind of has.
Yeah. I guess that kind of ties back to this. The animated is like the definitive DC universe for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The animated is, I think, where a lot of Marvel got the idea for how to do their cinematic universe.
Probably, yeah.
But speaking of the DC universe, have you seen the deleted scene with Michael Keaton in the Flash TV show?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it just came out during Comic-Con week.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because they're doing Crisis on Infinite Earth, right? Or the Infinity Crisis, sorry. As their last season.
Is that what it's called in there? Yeah.
I think it's called Infinity Crisis. It's one of the crises.
There's a million crises.
It's the first crisis, which I think is the Infinity Crisis.
Let's look it up.
Anyway, Michael Keaton makes an appearance in the Flash TV show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As Bruce Wayne.
So what they tried to do in the TV show was to get as many people who have played or acted in any of the movies, especially main characters, to make appearances so they could do as many different timelines as possible.
Okay.
So the original Robin from the 66 Batman.
Yeah, Burt Ward.
Burt Ward makes an appearance in it. Michael Keaton.
Wait, was he Robin?
He's wearing Robin's colors.
Oh, okay.
And he's out in the real world walking his dog, but he's also, 80?
Yeah, probably close to 90,
80,
yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, because he was probably 10 years younger than...
If you know who he is, you know who he is in the show.
Yeah.
You go, holy crap, it's Robin walking his dog after he retired from being
side note.
Wonder.
Did you ever watch Drew Carey, the Drew Carey show?
A little bit, yeah.
Drew
quite a bit.
Ended up renting out part of his house to a gay couple, an older gay couple. Guess who they were? Adam West and Burt Ward.
Do you think that Adam West and Burt Ward were a real couple off screen?
No. I think that was just a gag because everybody said the old Batman was, kind of gay.
Yeah.
Like really homoerotic.
Did you hear about Burt Ward being beat up?
No.
By Bruce Lee? Or Bruce Lee threatened to beat up Burt Ward.
Why?
Because they did a crossover with Green Hornet.
Oh yeah, because he was Kato.
He was Kato and Green Hornet.
He's basically the Robin of that.
Yeah, and there's a story in Hollywood where he threatened to beat up Burt Ward, or they almost got into a fight. When I heard about it, it was crazy.
I wonder if that's real.
But well, supposedly in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the new Tarantino movie, you know how
they CGI him in there. I haven't seen it, but I know Bruce Lee makes
in the movie
appearance.
Right? Brad Pitt is a stuntman.
Yeah.
And they're behind the scenes of a Bruce Lee movie. And him and Bruce Lee get into a fight.
Okay.
And that's referencing.
Oh, okay. Maybe it really did happen then.
Yeah. It's a
crazy
rumor.
If it did.
Yeah.
Kato versus
crazy
Robin.
How it all ties into each other, isn't it?
Yeah. But them getting old actors was Michael Keaton. I'll watch it for sure. But was he just Bruce Wayne, or was he?
He was in the Batman suit, from what I saw.
Okay, because they were. That was a rumor going around that would be in the Flashpoint movie, but that makes more sense that it's in the TV show.
Well, they might be it looked like it was a scene between the Justice League Flash and
Michael Keaton. Okay.
So they might have done it because the Justice League Flash did make an appearance in the TV show, right? So they might have done it in a way that it can be used in both.
Yeah. Okay.
So, because that would be,
or maybe he'll reference it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is maybe when he sees Thomas Wayne Batman, he'll say, "Oh, you're the second Batman I've seen today. That's not Bruce, or not the Bruce I know."
You got to see it. I haven't watched it.
I'll watch it
yet.
for sure. Definitely after this.
I just saw it popped up in my feed, and I was like, "Oh, I got to talk about that."
But yeah, back to the Phantasm. We trailed off pretty bad.
Does this kick off DC's animated movie?
I think so. It was kind of the first, and it had a theatrical release too.
It had a theatrical release.
How good this was.
I believe it made its money back.
Probably. I would hope so. I would hope so. Yeah, I kind of think it does because I think it showed that people really like that the animated series itself was a huge hit. And I think this showed that you can make cartoon movies about superheroes. Yeah. And they'd be very popular. And they have more accessibility to adults too.
Well, it kicked off, the animated series kicked off the whole run of animated superhero shows that we got in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We probably wouldn't have X-Men the animated series without this, or Superman, or anything, really.
Oh, now my phone's being slow.
It's all right.
And then
might have to
being
adjust
referenced in...
You hear that? Maybe?
There it goes.
I'm going to have to get maybe new cables or maybe new microphones.
I think it's a cable on mine.
Well, anyway. Oh, there it goes. There we're good.
Oh, it failed at the box office.
Oh, okay.
It's according to Wikipedia.
That's sad because this is such a good movie. Maybe it's kind of one of those ahead of its time.
Its production budget was $6 million. It made $5.6 million.
That's pretty close.
In the box office, so pretty close. It's definitely made its money back by now.
100%, yeah. Just with DVD sales.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the Netflix deal and
toys.
And
I had a ton of Batman the Animated Series toys when I was a kid.
Oh, dude, they get crazy.
Oh, it looked like Wayne Manor on the outside, and it split in half. And half of it was the Batcave, and the other half was something else. I can't remember exactly.
Awesome.
It was really cool.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, had a little seat. I put my Batman in it, and he was at the Bat computer. That was really cool.
That is cool. I think I remember it because every single cartoon show in the 80s had that. Like Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain and GoBots.
That definitely carried over to the 90s, for sure.
But I think it was black. I think it had a bat signal on the top or something.
I can't remember. I just remember playing with it.
Back to the movie though. At the World Fair, at the World of Tomorrow, the Batmobile.
Yeah, I love that. And he was
commandeered it or whatever, refurbished it. How much of Phantasm made it into other movies? Because in Batman Begins, we get the reference to him trying to design his uniform, which we never get. We get seeing a vehicle someplace else, and oh yeah, that's gonna work as my Batmobile.
I think that maybe that's more Batman Year One making it into it.
Okay.
As far as the costume
I mean,
design.
I'm pretty sure that Year One was a big inspiration for Phantasm.
Oh yeah, it was.
Why have they not remade it as a live action?
Phantasm or Year One?
Phantasm. I think Robert Peterson's Batman, the new one, is going to be Year One Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I think it's going to be based on. It would be nice if it was based on Phantasm. I mean,
yeah,
you have the whole movie right there.
They could. I don't think Robert Pattinson is a good Batman, though.
We don't know yet.
He doesn't fit what I envision Batman looking like or having the stature of.
Are you only thinking of him in Twilight though, or are you thinking of him from any of his
like
other
his
movies?
aesthetic look?
Because if you in his other movies, other than Twilight, I mean, I know that he's known for Twilight, but in his other movies, he has had some roles where I could kind of see him being. I mean, he's a great actor.
Yeah. No, I'm not
he
saying
gets
that.
knocked a bunch for Twilight.
No, I just mean like when I look at Affleck, I think Affleck was the good stature, the physical presence for Batman. I don't get that from. He seems like he's too scrawny, I guess, to be Batman.
And that's what I'm saying is that in some of his other movies, he is a lot bulkier than what he is in Twilight.
Yeah.
Because Twilight, he is very pasty, skinny,
That was a
And
terrible
the
movie.
shirtless picture of him from Twilight is probably one of the most popular pictures of him ever.
For other reasons, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that I think we have to give him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be a good Year One type Batman.
Maybe.
Because he is younger.
Mm-hmm.
He is. We're not expecting him, if it is Year One, to be super bulky.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, it depends on what movie he's doing.
I would think he would be bulky, and like
Not as bulky as Kristen Bale, for example. Right? And I mean, your favorite Batman, Keaton,
yeah.
not super muscular,
No, not at all.
you know? And he worked fantastic.
I have a different standard for actors nowadays, though,
Okay, what do you mean?
because like
Because there is kind of a
it's
a checklist of this is what a superhero movie needs to be, or is it?
I mean, as far
just-
as physical ability and what people can do nowadays, as opposed to the exercise or nutrition
regimens.
advice that was
Right.
back in the 80s, is much different. We're told to eat cleaner and there's better workouts. People can get
Well,
personal trainers. Or back then it was
Yeah.
like,
We
as
don't
long as you're
know.
not obese, you're fine.
Yeah. I agree, and I mean we definitely have got the apparently with Chris Pine or not Chris Pine,
Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Going from Parks and Rec
To
to
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, there is definitely this is what you do to become to act in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
You know the steps. I mean, what's his name in Eternals? The Indian dude.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think. He's a comedian, actor.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, he like got ripped.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And he was. I mean, never probably really, according to him, never really worked out in his life. So there is definitely these are the steps that you follow to look like a superhero.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
that's
So if it's possible for those guys, then I've got to think it's possible for Patterson.
I hope so. I hope he does it though. There's that whole thing online, him saying, "I don't want to work out for this." I don't know if that's true
If
or
it is
not.
Year One,
But that was when he was 20s. He's at his peak. He's honing his skills. He should be bigger and stronger then, whereas opposed to when he's close
it
to
depends on how they go with it.
I guess. But you would
Right.
want to be peak physical and as agile and strong as you can be, as opposed to Batman later when he's in his 30s and he's taking some beatings and maybe he can't work out as hard. Maybe he has arthritis, or maybe he has a couple gunshot wounds.
Is that do you think that's kind of what the direction they went with Affleck?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Is
that
he
was
went with, because I think Affleck, you bring Affleck back for Batman Begins, and he's old man Wayne,
it could be
and I think that works really well.
because he was modeled after the Dark Knight,
Mm-hmm.
as in the comic version, where he's he's struggling a little bit, like he's got bulk, but he's not agile
Mm-hmm.
because you can still weightlift and not have you can't CrossFit when you're in your maybe 50s or 60s if you've taken that kind of beating where he has arthritis and he has gunshot wounds and where he can still weight lift at a safe way to get bigger, but he's not necessarily has the practical strength.
Right.
Yeah. Like him on trying to lift himself up the ropes and things like that, getting away from villains. He's struggling when he's older. But when you're younger and you haven't taken that beating, I think it'd be easier for him it'd be more justified for him to dig too.
If Patterson is doing year one, you also have the yes, I've been working out and stuff, but I don't have my routine down yet.
That could be too.
Learning, right? Because that was a big part of year one was learning how to be Batman.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Instead of just being Batman.
Yeah.
And with Dark Knight, he's Batman. I mean, he knows how to be Batman.
Yeah.
He puts a suit on and he's 30 years old again, you know?
Yeah. And it could be, I know in certain canons they've had him with like an exoskeleton that allows him to run with younger people.
Right.
But I don't know, I don't like the Batman, the movie as itself, because it's just a one-off. The
Batman.
That's what it's going to be called.
Okay.
The Christopher Reeves Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
Because it's not part of a universe. I think it's just going to be another one-off that...
It's not part of a universe yet.
Yeah.
I think that DC is trying to reboot its universe again, but still be able to keep Wonder Woman, still be able to keep the aspects that work.
Yeah.
Carry them over and restart.
If it's not part of that,
but
then...
If they're not going to make their creators read comic books and understand the characters fully, we're never going to get anything good.
Yeah.
I mean...
But I'm just saying, if it's not going to be part of that, I don't know why they would make it.
I think it has to be. So I think they have to, unless they're going to do Flashpoint Paradox.
If they did that and brought it in, that would make sense.
Patterson's Batman is
the new Batman.
Or just a universe that exists that Flash goes through.
That would make sense.
Really.
But if it's just
maybe that's what they're trying to do, is they're going, maybe Warner Brothers has a better idea than what we think they do about what they're doing.
So.
I don't think they do, but maybe they do. So you make a bunch of bad movies, right? Or subpar movies. Right?
Yeah.
And you retcon all of it with Flashpoint Paradox, like they did with the comics. Right?
Yeah.
And you get all these different timelines to go through.
You could. I feel like that's a bad way to go about it.
Or genius.
Nah, I think it's bad.
Because it's not the Marvel way. Right? Because Marvel has I think the formula of what to do to make these universes, right?
Yeah. And I think as far as movie making,
always wanted to stand apart.
Yeah, of course. That's why they're dark and gritty,
right?
Instead of lighthearted and fun.
That's how a lot of the Marvel movies were at first, were dark and gritty. You know? I mean,
darker anyway.
Look at anything from Phase 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it wasn't owned by Disney
Phase
though. That's the thing.
Is basically the same color palette for the entire thing, right?
Because it wasn't owned by Disney.
Right.
And they were trying to make just movies, not fun for the family movies.
Well, Kevin Feige's been in charge of it since the beginning. So this has always been the game plan for Marvel movies, is to bring the comics to the cinema the right way.
Yeah.
Right? DC's not Marvel. Right?
Of course.
With the animated Flashpoint. I mean, they had a bunch of animated movies out before that from different things with different success rates.
Yeah.
And they kind of retconned it all with Flashpoint, right? Same thing with the comics. They had a bunch of different comic lines. They retconned it with Flashpoint. Maybe that's what they do.
I think that's just a bad movie way to do it. Maybe. I think that works with comics and animated because there's not as much budget and there's not your actors don't get older.
Right. I'm not saying that it's a good way or a bad way. I'm saying that it's a possible way.
It's a possible way, but I don't
And
think that's the
until
way they're doing it. I don't think they planned this. I think they wanted to play catch up with Marvel, and they rushed everything.
Yeah.
They got a lot of bad shit, and now they're trying to
I
make
totally
everything
agree
up.
that
Yeah.
that's exactly what they tried to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying maybe now that they've tried to do that and failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now there's an idea internally that we do it like this. Maybe we take our way
I hope.
and do this.
I hope. If they did the Robert Pattinson Batman, if that was a jumping off point and they just said, all right, we're just going to keep Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
This will be Batman. Maybe do a year one and make him look younger in this. And then just say, forget everything else. Forget Batman v Superman. Just keep Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam. Let's be new Batman. We're going to make another Superman.
Well, that's what they get to do with Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Is they get to go, we can pick and choose what we want to keep.
Yeah.
So
if they do it that way, it would fix everything. Hopefully.
And then they set up the internal movie retcon like they do in the comics. And now Marvel can take that also and retcon anything they want out.
It's true. This also impinges on if the Batman is good.
Well, yeah. I mean,
we don't know if it will be. It could be good.
It could be good.
Hot garbage.
I think.
Or it could be.
And that's why I bring it up with the Phantasm discussion is that they have a script that works.
It
That
does.
is a great Batman movie. One of the best.
Yeah.
Why not just shoot that script? And the majority of it works in real life in camera.
Yeah, it does.
Right? There's nothing drawn that's too out there.
No, because this is...
I mean, we aren't dealing with any cosmic entities. We're
No.
not dealing with any
the animated
weird camera.
The animated series was kind of set in the 50s.
In the
60s-ish.
50s. Well, it was
50s,
also
yeah.
drawn because there's different ways of animating.
Yeah.
Right? And the animated series is drawn as if it is shot with a real world camera.
Yeah. But there's nothing. Yeah, it's in the... Like I'm saying, it's in the 50s set, so nothing is... Yeah, like you're saying, nothing's cosmic. Everything is more realistic.
Right.
There's just guns. There's just crazy people.
Right. Right. So everything could be done relatively cost effectively. Right?
Yeah.
It's the first live action movie to quote unquote create a character for the movie only.
It could be.
Right?
It'd be great.
The storyline is great. The beats are there. I mean, everything is there
To make a great movie.
to make a great live action movie in this animated movie. And because Warner Brothers owns everything in house, they
It'd
can
be
reshoot it easy.
They could.
And you don't need like a Waititi or Russo brothers to write it or direct it.
Yeah, it's already there.
So just about anybody works.
It could be good setup for different little B plots in other movies too. Like if they wanted to do the Superman, or not a Superman, but the Wonder Woman, Batman movie, won't they? And you could always have
you
him.
can start referencing it.
Yeah, you could always have him. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's thinking of Andrea. Like I don't want people to get close to me.
Yep. You can shoot it as a one-off movie,
Mm-hmm.
or you can use it to introduce the Joker, your new Joker,
Yeah.
and go in. Your second movie is now your Joker movie again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
Yeah. I wish they'd use the Man Bat. I
what,
think-
as a bad guy?
Yeah,
In any?
in a movie, a live action movie. I think that'd be really cool.
I mean, I like the Man Bat aesthetically. I mean, he's a
Mhm.
cool idea for a character, but I mean, I kind of feel like he's a ripoff of a Spider-Man villain, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it just Batman, Man Bat. I think he'd be a cool, at least in the first. I think he'd be a good opening.
Okay,
for a
so
movie,
first
at
20
least.
minutes, Batman is fighting Man Bat across the city.
Yeah, and then you
Okay.
see him injects something into him. Then he turns back and then Langstrom.
Mm-hmm.
And then Batman comes back. You know, he's sitting. He's like, "Oh, I think I broke a rib." And then Alfred's like, "Yeah, something's coming up." And he's like, "Oh shit!" And then it cuts the credits.
Right. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I just want certain characters like that. I want them to be in the movies, not necessarily be the focus.
Right. I want to see a good Killer Croc.
Yeah.
In the movie.
I want to see a good Mr. Freeze.
I want to see I want him to take Arkham Asylum the game.
Oh yeah, all the Arkham
That'd
games.
Be a movie.
Yeah, if it went from Asylum to Night, that'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they couldn't make Batman gets trapped in Arkham Asylum. Joker did it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the ending of the game, I don't like so much. With Joker
doing the whole
Titan.
huge.
I don't like that.
I mean, that's a video game thing. That's more of a trope for a video game, but that could be.
But I think that the beats are there for a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting one.
Yeah.
Where we don't have the origin story.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have.
That could be a good, if they did Mask of the Phantasm.
Into Arkham. Because Phantasm gets put in Arkham.
Or even
Joker.
Or even just Joker does, and maybe she gets away. And we can use her.
Later.
Yeah, as like a come to the rescue, or I know somebody here that can help us.
Right. Yeah. I mean.
And that could be a later plot point of her and Batman have to fight together. And then maybe before she goes, he says, you could still come with me. We can be together. You can have that. Because I love.
Do you think does that work with them, though?
I think it could.
I don't think so, but go ahead.
Because like in, I think it would end up the same way in Batman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
When he's with Catwoman. She's like, you can come be with me.
Mm-hmm.
And she has that moment where she's like, oh, I'd love to just come back to your castle, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she slashes at him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be a moment like that. That's one of my favorite moments in that, where he's reaching out as Bruce Wayne, being a human, saying we can fix ourselves together. Because they're similar in that way. And I think her Phantasm and Batman are similar in that. Like, he could say, we don't have to be held down by this. We can have normal lives together and be happy. Get that happiness we once had.
I think with the Phantasm, I think that kind of ends that part of him.
It could, but I'm just saying like a later on thing. Or maybe then she dies. When she's thinking, oh, I can be with you.
Okay. So kind of like in the comics with Catwoman, where they actually try it for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Or even just they're fighting together for something, and then she dies, and that almost breaks Batman's spirit.
How did Phantasm never make it into any of the animated?
I don't know.
Outside of Beyond.
I don't know.
Because it was a great character, great idea, right?
Maybe it's
and we reuse characters all the time. She didn't make it into the comics like Harley Quinn.
I don't know. Maybe she just wasn't as popular because she wasn't a running character. It was just a movie.
I mean, she's a very, like you just said, she's very Catwoman, Talia al Ghul.
Maybe because Catwoman overshadowed her.
Maybe. I don't know. Because I think that she doesn't make it into the Bat family like everybody else does. I think that's the interesting thing about it.
She only was doing it to kill certain people, and then she'd be done.
Yeah, but she never has the moment that she could have had, or that Batman could have had, where it's like he does with Red Hood, where it's we can work together.
But she doesn't want to do anything but those specific people. She doesn't care about, defending the city or anything.
I'm just saying it was
You'd have to change a few things for that.
It's an interesting thing that never happened.
Yeah.
With the character.
And it could. But if we had a live action that could go into the Arkham thing. Yeah. Where, Joker, he's taking Joker to Arkham, and then he had this setup.
Right.
Or it's like cut back later.
Right. Is that the most frustrating thing about DC?
They don't make good movies?
Do everything except for make decent movies.
Yeah, it is a big frustration, for sure.
Especially since everything's in one place. Everything. I mean, they don't have issues like Marvel has, where characters are different studios and owned by different people.
I think maybe there's too many of the old guard maybe in charge, and they go, that's children's stuff. We don't want to make that. Maybe that's a possibility.
I don't know. So much of their fan base says this is the stuff that's great.
I don't know.
I think they got caught up with. I didn't think they were counting on Christopher Nolan's movies to do as good as they did.
Mm-hmm.
And they went and they took the wrong lessons away from that. Instead of taking the lessons of, we hire great creatives and let them do what they want with the characters, which is what they did with Nolan, basically.
For the most part.
They took, if everything's gritty and real, everybody will love it.
Yeah.
That's the lesson they took, instead of taking the lesson that Marvel is now learning by going, we're going to hire these amazing directors and writers and let them use the characters in the way that they want.
Maybe they will.
Ragnarok is a fantastic example of that lesson being learned.
Yeah, it's a good mix of
think about how
stories
bad Thor was.
Yeah, Thor's not great.
Before Ragnarok.
Thor 1 it's passable.
Thor 1 is...
It's a cookie cutter...
Thor 1 is...
okay movie.
Okay. Iron Man worked.
Yes.
This is the outline
Mm-hmm.
for how to do a Marvel movie. We're just going to do the Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that way for Marvel up until just about, what, Iron Man 3 maybe?
Yeah.
No. Winter Soldier. It's that way up until Winter Soldier. Ant-Man is basically that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the origin
Ultron
stories are basically the same.
Yep, all the origin stories are basically the same. I'm sorry, I take back Winter Soldier up until James Gunn with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
James Gunn is the one that kind of broke that mold quite a bit.
Well, it kind of had to, because there's more than one main character.
Well, not only that, but doing what Frank Miller did and what Alan Moore did, what Neil Gaiman did in the comics, and we're going to treat these characters like they are real people.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take them seriously,
and
we're going to give them real issues.
Yeah.
Star-Lord is probably one of the best written characters ever.
He's up there for sure.
Endgame Thor is, oh my gosh.
It's hilarious.
I
love
that. It's just hilarious, but it's also heartbreaking at the same time, because he has gotten, how do you destroy a god? That's how you destroy a god. You take away his people, his family,
his hammer,
everything. And he even has a new hammer, and it's still...
It's not Mjolnir.
It's the only time I heard this, and I'm going to try to say it the same way. The issue with Thor before Ragnarok is that he had never fought against somebody twice and lost. He might lose the first time, but he learns his lesson, and he wins the second time.
That's kind of classic comic book.
That's kind of how, that's kind of how Ragnarok starts. Is he fights against Surtur for he's lost, but hey, we're gonna have a round 2. You're done.
Yeah.
He fights against Hela, loses, and then wins. Kind of.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody wins at the end of Ragnarok.
Not really.
Thor kind of wins because he gets his people off Asgard. But
that was kind of
lose Asgard.
But that was destined to happen.
Right.
So
he can kind of write that off as this is destiny.
He saved more people that way.
Right. He saved his people, which is something that nobody thought would happen.
Yeah.
So he
I call
kind
that a win.
of wins.
I call that a win.
Right? In Endgame, he just loses. He loses and loses.
Infinity Wars, he loses.
Infinity War.
Yeah, he loses everything.
And then he loses again, and then he loses again,
and
then he loses the third and final time when he doesn't go for the head. Or the arm. He could have chopped off the arm,
Yeah, he could have.
right?
No, he just wanted to
So
see. He
then-
wanted to confirm he was suffering.
But then at the beginning of Endgame, he fights Thanos for the third time, right? And he wins. He kills Thanos, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't fix anything.
No, it doesn't.
And that just,
That breaks him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm so glad that they've started writing real characters into these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Peter Quill, Star-Lord. He started out as this immature, never grown up
Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Just banging whoever.
Kind of, right? And at the end of Endgame, he's actively trying to help the person that he's fallen in love with over these movies.
He is.
Even though she doesn't remember him.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know him. He knows.
She's effectively a different person.
She is effectively a different person, but he knows that
He knows what could
this
be.
is the same person that she was before.
Mm.
So what can I do to get her back to help her become a better person?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Love
another.
and Thunder is going to be an interesting movie.
It will be. That's I guess a philosophical question than that. Is that a different person? Should you try to make them who they once were?
I mean, it's Gamora from 2014,
Yeah.
right?
But if it's a different,
technically, it's the same person from before meeting him,
yeah,
right?
yeah, but you're a
How
different
much has
person.
gone different,
Yeah,
right?
you're a different person. You're not the same person
Right.
you met her
The
originally.
timeline's no longer there.
Yeah. So should you try to?
Can we fix the timeline?
Yeah.
Should we try to?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's not necessarily the timeline. It's influencing that person. All the things that happen were their own free will, and if you're actively trying to make them make them into someone else, is that right?
And is that something you should do? Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by writing real people.
Yeah.
Writing real
DC hasn't done
characters.
that yet.
DC in animated they have.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Have you seen Apocalypse War Dark yet?
No, I haven't seen that
Oh
yet.
my gosh.
But I mean, everything
I
else.
can't talk about the end of the movie. I can't. But the end of it is the best part because it actually changes. DC actually changes going forward. It's not, they kind of try to do a reset or they suggest that there might be a reset, but it's not there yet. And they don't, and it's like nobody wins. Somebody wins, but they don't really win.
It costs too much to win. That it might
You
not as
gotta
well not
watch
be
it. You gotta watch it.
a period victory. Yeah.
I can't give you any more than that.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Phantasm kicked it all off for DC.
pretty much, for the most part, yeah. They kicked off the movie verse.
Yeah.
At least having
The animated movie.
movies, yeah. Not necessarily universe, I guess, but just
Well, not just
starting
that, but having well written ones.
Mhm.
Having
Trying something different.
well-written movie first. I mean, have you ever seen? I don't know if I've ever seen a not good DC animated movie.
The Suicide Squad one was
Which one?
not great. The
Hell to Pay.
yeah,
I thought it was all right.
it's okay.
I mean, it has real characters. I mean, the beats are a little funky.
Yeah,
The structure's a little funky.
yeah, but there's not one that's bad. I don't
The
think.
characters aren't that great in Hell to Pay.
Yeah,
I mean, I really don't like Harley Quinn in that one.
I'm starting to not like Harley Quinn at all because I feel like she's gonna be like the Joker and way overused.
I think part of it is, have you seen the new Harley Quinn show?
Mm-mm.
I think that fixes a lot of it.
Does it?
Yeah. Just like in the comics.
Yeah, she's like different.
Part of it is like in Hell to Pay where they go to Arkham and she can't resist the Joker, right? That I think is a big flaw in her character, right?
That makes sense.
I think that fixing that flaw is the interesting part of Harley
it
Quinn.
is. It is for sure.
Like her getting away from Joker in the comics and figuring out that she's bisexual or gay. dating
Poison Ivy. Yeah.
Learning what it's like to be in a real mature relationship with Poison Ivy, where she's given the chance to heal from all the trauma and abuse that the Joker caused, giving away her child because she knows that she's not mentally stable enough to raise her child.
Yeah.
All those kinds of things. One of the most, at least for me, one of the best character moments for Harley Quinn in the comics is she feels like she's mentally stable enough and mature enough to go get her child back. I think it's a daughter. So she goes to the house to get the kid. And she's standing across the street, and the kid is playing in the yard. And happy in a good neighborhood, in a good house, with obviously loving parents, and obviously loving those parents back. And she walks away.
Yeah, that's an adult thing to do.
You know? So I think that they need to bring more of that stuff in to the movies.
Yeah. They need to set it up properly. Like I said, they rushed everything.
Right. I mean, I don't know if that's why Wonder Woman works. I think Wonder Woman works because it pretty closely follows.
It's pretty much Captain America.
Captain America's design. So it's going to be interesting to see if 1984 works also.
I don't know.
Because I think if you just follow the Marvel cutouts from Phase 1, you can make any superhero movie.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to have Cheetah in it.
It does have Cheetah in it. It has, God, I can't remember the big bad. He's some psychic. He has like mind control powers in the comics. It's one of her more not as prominent enemies.
I don't know her rogues gallery all that well.
Yeah. I know Cheetah. I know Egg Foo. You know Egg Foo?
No. I know Cheetah, and that's pretty much it.
Egg Foo is one from World War II, where it's a giant egg who's very Eastern, Japanese.
A little stereotypical.
The stereotypes and racism are pretty blatant with him, and but he's a genius mastermind, and she kicks his butt all the time.
Of course.
Yeah, he's actually. I just read a series with him in it. Which one was that?
I'm surprised he's still around.
He got brought back for this.
Oh, okay.
Well, what it is it's... Gosh, now I can't remember which one it was. It was pretty good.
It'll come to you. You'll probably tell me tomorrow.
As soon as I bring it up, it will.
Come up to me tomorrow like, hey, it's that.
Well, it's one of the... not the New 52.
Rebirth?
I think it's Rebirth. But it's one of the storylines from Rebirth with the Metal Men, and they bring all of the mad scientists to an island and give them all the money in the world to
do bad shit.
Do whatever they
basically
want with, and Egg Foo is one of those.
Oh, okay.
Evil geniuses that are trapped on the island.
That's cool. I like that concept.
It's kind of crazy. It's the one where Black Adam gets married and has a kid, or adopts his new wife's brother, basically, and gives her the powers of Isis. Gives him some of his powers, and Black Adam actually tries to be good. Yeah, it was interesting. It's where we get the new question from the female question.
Okay.
Is from this comic storyline. So I think it's Rebirth, their New 52, one of them, where they retconned a bunch of stuff.
Probably Rebirth. Or maybe maybe, no, because New 52 kind of...
There's an event. 52 because it's following, it's Red Tornado, a bunch of them, Animal Man, Starfire, and somebody else end up way out in space. They've defeated some bad guy, and nobody can remember what happens. Booster Gold is one of the heroes in it because they have to go back in time and stop one of Shazam's bad guys, the little worm, Mr. Mind.
Okay.
Mind the worm.
I don't know his rogues gallery that well either.
You've seen the Shazam movie? You haven't seen the
No, I
new
haven't seen
Shazam
it, no.
movie?
I kind of gave up on DC movies. And I was just
Shazam
like,
is
yeah.
fantastic.
I've heard it's good. I just
Oh,
haven't
man.
watched it.
It's as good as, if not better than a Marvel movie.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would put it up there with like Guardians of the Galaxy,
Okay.
Thor Ragnarok, like that level of good.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, in the after credits scene, this guy shows up.
Okay. So he'll probably be in the next.
Yeah, he's one of the bad guys from Shazam.
Okay.
In the comics, Lex Luthor uses, because it's a worm or a caterpillar that has telekinetic powers or something. Super genius. And gosh, which one is it? But basically, Lex Luthor uses Shazam to destroy the Justice League and take over with this worm. He puts it in Shazam's ear.
Okay.
And it crawls
That would
in,
make sense.
takes control of Shazam's mind. And him and the worm work together.
Gotcha.
And
That would make
Shazam
sense because
ends
he'd
up
be the
being
only
the
one
big
who's
bad.
strong enough to fight Superman or take anybody else
Yep.
out.
Yep. And he takes over the world, basically. Legion of Doom type stuff.
That's cool.
Why don't they do the why has the Justice League not done the Batman takes over everything?
'Cause they-
What series is that?
Tower of Babel, I think it's called.
Tower of Babel. The animated
Well, it's not really him
has-
taking it over. It's him.
The
His
animated
plans
series
use.
has,
Yeah.
with Savage
Yeah.
taking Batman's plans and trying to destroy the Justice League. Why is that not in the movies yet?
Because they haven't established enough for
You
that.
don't think so?
No.
I think it's one of those things that they could just kind of start with.
In the
I
are you
think
talking about animated movies
I
or
think in the live action movies,
live action? Because
Right.
they haven't established enough characters and stuff yet.
I think that they're so well known that you don't have to anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think Tower of Babel could be a good starting off point
It could be.
because you had the original 7. Batman's plans get stolen, used against him. They consider kicking Batman out. And it kind of is a Justice League establishment movie, comic.
I think that could be a good second Justice League movie.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a great Justice League movie.
Yeah,
But just when?
be called like Justice League Tower of Babel or just something.
Well, I mean, when do they... But that's the case with so many of DC's comics. Big story arcs, right? Like, you can't do Red Sun until you've established Superman, supposedly, right?
Yeah, so it's about Superman.
You can't do...
We can't have big stories,
Yeah,
big
what's the
ensemble
other-
stories without the ensemble.
There's another one. It's a Justice League movie or story that's good. Kingdom Come. Like, why can't you just do a Kingdom Come live action movie?
That'd be great.
Right?
That'd be great.
I mean, these movies, these comic stories exist outside of the continuity of DC. Right?
They do. It would have to be it'd be a one-off movie then too.
You think so?
Yeah, because
Well, that's the beauty about the Flashpoint.
I think Shazam dies in that in Kingdom Come, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Or is
It's
it
been
Superman?
so long since I've read it.
Or is it Superman? Somebody dies in
Superman
that.
retires.
No, but he has the nuke goes off. It was either Superman or Shazam that has to go try to stop it.
I think it's Shazam because Superman's retired. Wonder Woman goes to him and tries to get him to
Yeah,
help.
but he comes and helps them, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure. I haven't read
It's
it.
been so long since I've read it.
And I think
It's
Shazam
such a
dies.
good story.
I think Shazam dies in it
I don't know.
because it's when he's older too.
Possibly.
I don't know. It's hard to do that because that's like with the Marvel movies, like
Mm-hmm.
Ragnarok. Ragnarok's an amalgamation of movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well, that's
like,
what they've gotten right.
yeah, it's because you have to do it that way. You can't make a movie for every storyline.
Mm. Well, I think that's part of what we were talking last time about the Dark Knight Joker,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that you feel like he's more anarchy than Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what Christopher Nolan understands about superhero movies, is that you have to have a character that's an amalgamation of other characters.
I think
In
that
other series, you can't just have them be the one thing
I think
because they're not big enough.
I think it's because it was supposed to be realistic, and that was a more realistic, real life. Because
Right.
like you can't really have. I don't know if it would translate well to grabbing baloney and hitting somebody with it
Right.
in real life if you're trying to make a serious movie.
No, because I mean, the Gordon in that movie is an amalgamation of different Gordons.
Yeah.
Right. Bane in the third one is an amalgamation of different characters. He's not just Bane.
He could have been Bane though, and I think that would have been better.
I think he would have looked silly.
No, I mean just him being the real
You
mastermind.
really want that drug aspect.
Yes, I want him to have that. I want that scene where he's fighting Batman and Batman's winning at first, and then he has that like, bam, and then he gets huge.
Right.
Or not. He doesn't have to be giant,
Right.
but just you see his muscle get huge, and then
Right.
Batman starts losing,
Mm-hmm.
and he has to go, oh shit, and retreat,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of the movie, him finding a way to level the playing field.
Right.
Him using his maybe chemical analysis, using his real science to figure out
Well, that's
either how to
something that
neutralize
all
it
of them-
or
That's why the Dark Knight is the best of the bunch of those, because we actually get to see Batman detectiving.
yeah.
We don't really see him detective in any of the other movies.
I think the Dark Knight, the Bane one, is just too long. I think there's a lot could be cut out of it, and I think
that it has the same problem that Star Wars has, right?
what's that?
They're going back to the same well in the third one. They're going back to League
Oh,
of
and,
Assassins,
Yeah,
just like they're going back to the Death Star.
yeah. The new one,
You
new
know.
Star Wars are garbage. I think they are.
I think that
That's a whole another podcast I could
I
have.
think they did what they set out to do. So we'll have to talk about that next time.
I think they I think they did what they set out to do. But what they set out to do, I think, was bad.
I don't think they had a choice.
Oh, they did.
No,
Yeah,
I think that
100%
they
did.
had to get rid of all of the canon and all of the other stuff so that they can move forward with it. I think that Star Wars is.
No, I'm not talking about like the.
We'll have to talk about it another time. We're not getting into it this time.
I know. Make
Because
this
we'll
real
be
long.
here for 5
Yeah.
hours.
This is already an hour and a half, so we should probably
Yeah.
let's wrap this up.
So Phantasm should be the new Robert Patterson new movie. Should be Phantasm.
Is it Patterson or Pattinson?
I don't know. The Twilight guy,
Yeah, Edward.
Edward.
I was Team Jacob.
Twi-
I don't care. I'm just kidding. I don't care.
Jacob
either way.
looks better with his shirt off. I don't blame you.
No, I think he was a better match.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the Twilights.
No,
I haven't read the books. I'm not married, so.
No, my wife didn't, but a previous girlfriend loved them, and I had to watch them.
Yeah, YA novels are another thing.
Yeah.
My kids tell me about them, and I ignore them.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
so the new movie should be Phantasm or Year One.
Mm-hmm.
DC needs to start making their creatives read their comics before they make the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Phantasm is best Batman movie ever.
Yeah, top 3 at
Top
least.
3.
I really
least.
would have to go through everything, because like
Yeah.
Batman Year One was really good.
Batman Year One.
The movie, the animated movie.
Oh! I meant this is like the best Batman movie. Like if this was a live action movie, it would be the best
Oh,
Batman movie,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I was comparing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you meant the
can't
best
compare
animated movie.
animated
I'm like,
movie.
God, I'd have to go through all of
If
them.
you made Phantasm as a live action movie, it would be the best
It'd be
Batman movie.
it'd be amazing. There probably wouldn't.
Pretty hands down.
There wouldn't. Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody in the same category as it.
No, not really. There's some great comics that would make great movies.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like an animated movie made to live action,
So DC,
this would probably be the best for sure.
you own Phantasm.
Just do it.
Redo it. Just reshoot it. Next time Marvel, because this is our second DC podcast.
Well, we did a lot of Marvel in the last one.
I listened to it all. Yeah, not much Marvel.
No?
I want to
Okay.
talk about where Marvel's going and what they're going to do
Okay.
and how they get there.
All right.
Because I think there's a lot of meat on that bone.
There really is.
Mm-hmm.
Is definitely going to
Yeah.
talk about Star Wars at some point.
Yes, and then Star Wars. Or we can do 'em whichever order.
Yeah. I have to get some more people in here for
So
that
I'm
one.
Levi. This is Arthur. Have a good day.
Yeah, we'll see you later.